trying to give this idea that actually Ginsberg was not a communist, and he was an engineer, and he was obsessed with form and with beauty.
I suppose he was very communist, because of why he was an engineer. Because he was communist, not vice versa.
Yeah. But Ginsberg was trying to sort of give this idea that actually it's fine. And so we were talking about the laundry. So in Narkomfin there was a laundry facility, and we asked whether it's going to still be a laundry, and Ginsberg said, of course it's not going to be a laundry. We can't do a laundry. It's going to have a bookshop cafe, Czech film posters, these kinds of things. So it's much easier to recycle and to give a second life to the form of the social condenser than to function.
Dima, you was after me, I suppose. Not you. Somebody was.
And again about Palace, have you seen or heard about some strong and interesting ideas or even projects of reconstructing the palace itself? Yes, physically. I'm talking not about the area. Mm-hmm. Yes. Can you tell us?
I've seen a few ones. All of them are very bad, awful. Yeah. You can't do anything to the Palace of Culture now because it's a historical monument. It's listed as a pamятник архитектуры since 2007. So it's protected. So it's not possible to change the actual body of the palace at all. But there were various ideas. In the 90s, there was this Polish-American businessman from Virginia called John Kowalczyk, and he was a sort of like gangster type. And in this sort of wild capitalist days, he almost convinced the city to sell him the Palace of Culture for sort of $200,000 or something. And he wanted to turn the Palace of Culture into this thing called Palace of Culture Trade Center, the Palace. And he had this idea of putting these little glass towers on top of it,
and with casinos.
With casinos, a business center, nice facility, lots of glass, the worst shit imaginable. And it almost happened, and he almost convinced Stanisław Wyganowski, who was the mayor of Warsaw at the time. He was about 95 years old. He didn't know what was going on. And this businessman almost convinced him to do it until he was shot in 1993 in Virginia, in a parking lot, in a car park, by his father-in-law, who objected to the fact that he was having an affair. An extramarital affair. So that was the last serious proposal to change the body of the palace. But a lot of people have these ideas that they want to remove the side wings because the palace has these extraordinary, it's not just its height, but it's its width and the way in which it sort of enters into the city on all sides. So some people think that if you remove these side wings, which contain theatres and museums, you could make the palace more normal, more like a Chicago skyscraper, or more like Empire State Building or something. To capitalize it. And it would be more capitalizable because it would be easier to build buildings around it to fill this void, this socialist void which cannot make money, with functions from which you can make a profit effectively. So there is this idea, and this is also an idea that Polish people, a lot of people in Warsaw think that when they try to decommunize or to capitalize the Palace of Culture, they say that actually, no, this isn't a Stalinist building, it's kind of like a New York skyscraper, or like the Empire State Building, or whatever, the Manhattan Municipal Building. So people like to give examples of, when I said to people in Warsaw that I'm doing research in the Palace of Culture, they kept showing me photographs of various skyscrapers from the 1920s and 30s in the US, which they thought they had found the original model for the Palace of Culture. And there's also this other idea that some Polish people have, that the Palace of Culture is thinner and more smukły, more kind of elegant and thin than the Moscow palaces, because the Moscow palaces are kind of heavy and Byzantine and Russian, whereas when the Rudniew and his architects came to Poland, they were somehow injected with some sort of cosmopolitan Western spirit, and that's why the Palace of Culture. So Polish people impose a lot of these sort of patriotic, kind of slightly ridiculous ideas onto the form of the palace, and in some cases they actually want to. So there was this idea to chop the sides of the palace, but none of those have any chances of
Thank you. Michał, could I ask one question, not from you, but from questioner? Mm-hmm. I want to ask you, why did you asked a question about physical reconstruction of a building. Why did you assume a kind of hypothesis that it could be a question about physical reconstruction? Why did you ask it?
Just because I haven't found an answer in my head. I don't know.
Because for me it was very interesting because, you know, in young architects' minds and sometimes in a bad condition in elder architects' minds, usually there is an idea of physical reconstruction and idea that you can make something better, always you can make something better, just physically reconstruct it. It doesn't matter, it doesn't, in good conditions, it doesn't serve as a function, it could serve, but, and I've heard a bit of spirit of that question. Are there any ideas to reconstruct? It's always, maybe, one more notice is that you've said, I suppose, something very important for that forum. When you've said about the place around the palace,
yes,
there is socialistic void which doesn't produce money.
Yes.
I suppose that the bad thing of public spaces in Minsk and that Minsk costs we were talking yesterday are the public, that empty voids which are not producing money. And it's very important for me, and I suppose it's very important for our city. Don't forget about it, please.
Yes, and I think that's very important to keep those spaces empty, effectively. Not to keep them empty of people, but to keep them empty of profit, effectively. So that's the challenge before a city like Minsk or Warsaw, which has these empty spaces. These also spaces between buildings and housing estates that were built between the war and that were designed to have green space in between them, which are being filled in with office towers and with various other sort of profit-making buildings. It's important to do something interesting with those voids which doesn't take them away. But it's interesting, I mean, the mechanisms by which socialist voids are filled are interesting to compare in different post-socialist contexts. And I suppose I should have talked more about the square than I talked about than about the palace. But it's interesting that in Warsaw it happens partly through this mechanism of restitution. So now you have, for example, in recent days in Warsaw, at the moment it's still happening. There's this utterly crazy situation where in December the government passed this amendment to a law on forestry, on forests, which makes allows property owners to chop trees down without asking permission. So bizarre law, which clearly was somebody gave the minister some money or whatever to force this law through, and it was forced through. And now, because in Warsaw you have all of these random plots where property was restituted. So, say somebody used to own a building here, so now they are owner of this plot of land directly. And or this plot of land, and this plot of land, and this plot of land. And there are these situations all over Warsaw, and increasingly in this area too. And just recently, Tadeusz Kos, who owns this plot of land, after this law was passed, he chopped down all the trees in the park. Because he's angry that he can't do anything with this site, because there's a municipal zoning plan. So as a sort of, to the city, he chopped down all of these 60-year-old land trees. So, it's a completely chaotic process. So it's interesting to compare this to how it happens in Minsk, where there is no restitution law, but where there is, as you said, a different kind of jungle. And I've been saying this obsessively since I arrived yesterday, that I went for a jog yesterday in Minsk, and I was struck by the beautiful Exposition Center, which was shining, reflecting the sunshine on the riverside. And I saw that it was surrounded by a fence, and I hope when I arrive at the Architekturny Forum, I'm not going to be told that this building is going to be knocked down. But the mechanisms through which that ownership of that building, so it's different, I suppose, to how these mechanisms happen. It's
just sold.
It's sold for lease for Arena.
9 years. No, the plot of the land is sold to some other investors.
So if anybody of you know any of these Qatar investors, or you have an uncle in the government or something, please try and stop the export.
We just have one very strong need for money in City Council, and that's why they're trying to sell any central plot. And before selling that any central plot, they're trying to demolish buildings staying on that site. That's why they just found buildings which are functioning like not too effective by means of economy, not by means of social function or cultural function, and demolishing what stands here and selling that plots of land to be rebuilt with developers. So in Warsaw it's done by owners. It means the starting owner is a city. And even if it belongs to some substructure like hospital or like museum, it could be like restituted